Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Virginia Killmore, and welcome to my studio. Today is Case a Card Monday, which means I either copy or share something that someone else has done, and I use it in my card making. But today's card is really something I made my own. I used some ideas from other artists, but I really made my own version of the same card. So let's get started. So this is today's card. The color isn't so great on the camera, so I'm hoping you can see that that's a pinkish color, but it really doesn't, it looks brownish on here. So we're going to be using Misty Moonlight, and Calypso Coral. So Coral is really more of a pink color, but the technique is very easy to do, and we'll be using our Stamparatus. Now, the Stamparatus, we don't need the folded parts. Pardon me. The Stamparatus is a great tool for doing all kinds of things. We're not going to actually need the wings on it. We're just going to be using this to sort of hold our stencil in place. And so what I've done is taken a piece of 3.5 by 4 3/4 cardstock, and I'm going to get a second one because I'm going to punch a circle into it. I'm going to punch a 2-inch circle, and the main thing I want to do is sort of center it. And I'm centering it from right to left, and not really centering it at the top because I do want it a little bit towards the top of the card. Once I feel like I have it centered well enough, I'm going to go ahead and just punch that out. And then I can put my punch away. So this is my tool for doing the stenciling. So I'm going to lay this over it, and then all I need to do is line up my paper so that it should be centered with the stencil. The stencil is going to help me create that color that's on the inside of this card without having, so it's a double stencil. That's, I guess, what I'm trying to get at. That's a stencil here and a stencil here. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of orange with my blender brush and just sort of test it before I start. I always like to sort of see how dark it's going before I go right directly to my paper. I just find that that ends up having just a much softer and brighter kind of look to it. And I'm going in circles because I want to sort of fill in all the nooks and crannies. And as I start building color, I can start getting a little bit more brazen and putting my brush all over. Now, our brushes are amazing. They really do the job in an amazing way. They make it so easy to color in and really get the color that you want out of it. I have gone ahead and made clips for all my brushes using my 3D printer, and if you're interested, I'll have a link at the bottom of the information of how to make the card. I'm just so proud of myself. Those little C's took me forever to make. I fiddle farted with them until they just fit perfectly. So I've opened up an Etsy shop, and I'm sharing old stamps as well as some of my 3D printed stuff. I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to go a little bit darker in the center. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. The nice thing about this is that when I take this off, I'll have a circular pattern on my paper, and I'm all set. I like that. So I'm going to set this aside, and now we can do our stamping and get our card together. Our card is not going to take long today. So what I did was I stamped the background of the card, I don't know if you can see that, with the same color ink as the paper. So I'm going to take a scrap piece of paper, lay that right here, and we're going to stamp the dragonfly all over. This not only works to prime our stamp, priming means getting lots of color on it so that it stamps cleanly, but it also creates the pattern that we're looking for. And whenever you stamp an all over pattern, you want to turn it a little bit each time you stamp it, so to give a little variety to how the dragonfly appears on your card. I'm just going to stamp a couple extra here. I might not need them, but I might as well do that. And now I'm ready to stamp my center dragonfly, and I want to make sure it's well inked, and then I just place it right where I want it. Oh, that came out really nice. So now all we need to do is do a little scrap piece for our background, and I probably should have punched the double oval out of here, which I can still do. It's just it's going to have the pattern on it, but that's okay. It's not going to hurt anything. I hope that that's okay. We'll find out if I've gone too far. Nope, it fits okay. So I was able to get that out of there. Now, I could use this side, or I can just flip it over. And I've got my little section. And then I just need to stamp a little piece out of our stencil, because we might as well use that stencil up. Use that piece to do our stamping. And I'm going to stamp my sentiment on here and then punch it out. Now I will end up with something extra punched on there, but that's okay. This little piece will get thrown away. And now let's put our card together. It's a pretty quick card. We just need our card backing, which is 8.5 by 5.5. I'm going to close this because you know how ink tends to migrate its way to all my cards. I'm going to use my bone folder to really get a nice crisp edge. Go ahead and glue this down. I do not use a lot of glue. I just don't find the need to. So there you go. And now I need a little piece of the blue Misty Moonlight ribbon, so I'm going to cut that. I didn't get that pre-cut for you. And I'm going to do my typical, which is to just tie a knot up top and then cut it here. And because it's going to be centered on the card, I'm going to cut it right down the middle. I've never seen this trick. It's just one of the quickest ways to get a bow, and it doesn't use too much thread, except for I'm taking forever today. I'm just going to be a little bit more aggressive. Okay, so now I've got that, and I'm going to pull from the bottom so that my knot gets bigger and leaves me more space down here. So I always pull from the bottom. Now I can trim this up any way I want. And just cut this in half, because I want my bow to be right in the center. And then I'm just going to wrap that around my piece. So I'm going to flip that over. I want to keep it kind of low so that I have room for this piece right here. I think I'm going to do it this way this time. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. Flip it over, put a little tape on there. I made a design change. I'm going to keep it up high this time. So I think it actually fits better on the card that way. And now I'm going to just glue that down. I could use dimensionals, that would be fun, but I'll use dimensionals on the sentiment. So all I have to do is center that now. I love this card. This color is so pretty. I'm going to miss Pretty Peacock, which is retiring really soon. So I thought, I gotta start using another blue that I like just as much. Misty Moonlight is really pretty. So I'm just sort of getting that glued down. I usually like to do that ahead of time. I'm gonna put 2 dimensionals on there. Dimensionals give it a little lift and just give it a little extra perk. I like that a lot. I like it better this way than I did the other way. So I used Dragonfly Garden in case you didn't see that. And don't forget that if you need stamping supplies to use that code, I always put this information and links on all of my posts. I hope you enjoyed. Tomorrow we will be making this neat pop-up card. It's a butterfly pop-up at Coffee and Cards. So I hope you'll join me at 10:30. It's a live event. And I hope you have a great day and you get some stamping done today. See you tomorrow. Thank you.